Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at the feature race at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. It's the $75,000 Unbridled Stakes for 3-year-olds going a mile and a 16th. Before we get to the analysis, I want to remind you to give those DRF Mobile Pass performances a try. You can get true mobile access anywhere, anytime on your phone. Experience those DRF Classic PPs with the exclusive lifetime buyer speed figure graph. Learn more at drf.com/MPPS. Here's the field for the Unbridled. Some of these 3-year-olds looking to make a name for themselves on the national scene as it pertains to future prep races for the Kentucky Derby. Mike, you look at this field, and the number 4 Relentless Dancer showed good speed last time out in the Tampa Bay Derby. Timeform US expects him to be on the front, but I think Necker Island's going to try to take advantage of his inside post. I think Dylan Davis is going to be aggressive from the rail.
Yeah, I thought one of the keys to this race could be that Necker Island, he has enough tactical speed anyway to get a good trip from the inside. I did think that the 4 Relentless Dancer was going to make the lead in here, Dan. I just think he's the fastest horse early.
Let's talk a little bit about Necker Island, who his best race came over a sloppy track at Churchill Downs to conclude his 2-year-old campaign. He's had 2 starts this year, but against some pretty tough competition in both the Swale and the Gotham, so I don't want to hold those races too much against him. He does have to improve in here, but I don't see why with a good tactical trip, he can't get a piece of this at a price.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, the dropping out of the 2 grade 3s is a good thing for him. He just wasn't good enough to really be competitive in those races, Dan. I do respect the fact that he has a good draw, and again, that he has the tactical speed that could really lead to a good trip in this race, and maybe that'll go a long way for him. I'm not that big a fan of his, Dan. I don't know how good I really think he is. Maybe the trip will work out for him, and I'm going to look elsewhere for the winner.
Third start of the year for the number 2 Americanus, going out for trainer Mark Henninger. We're going to take a look at his most recent victory against now winners of one other than allowance competition. Mike, I thought he got a great pace setup. I thought he got a great trip. Everything worked out well for him in this race, and now he has to stretch out around 2 turns for the first time. I'm not worried about the distance considering his pedigree, but boy, what a great setup he got here.
Yeah, perfect trip to win this race, and he definitely took advantage to get it done. Like you, I'm not that worried about him stretching out, Dan. I think he should get the distance. I just wonder if he's good enough to beat this field. This is actually a pretty tough spot for him to step up into.
The morning line favorite in this race is the number 3, Dr. Post, coming off a 96 buyer speed figure maiden win. We'll take a look at that race right now. He was working hard on the turn, Mike, while 4 wide, and he was kind of 4 wide all the way around the track. This was a workmanlike victory for Dr. Post as he drew away in the late stages. It was in the manner of a horse that I think will appreciate this 2-turn distance, although when you look at his pedigree, his dam was a pure sprinter.
Yeah, I noticed that too. His dam was a good horse, but she was more of a sprinter. But he is by quality road. I think the mile and a 16th, Dan, I think he'll get at least that far. I don't really have any knocks on him, I guess. His career debut, they really bet him at Belmont. And obviously, he disappointed that day. But he did stumble at the start of that race against a very precocious horse in Green Light Go. He missed a ton of time. And listen, he came back and he ran a 96 buyer speed. It makes him the fastest horse in the race as he stretches out here. I know that he could win. I wouldn't take too short a price on him.
Mike, I'm interested in your thoughts on Relentless Dancer's performance in the Tampa Bay Derby. From a buyer speed figure standpoint, it was by far and away his best race. Other than the runner-up Sole Volante, there wasn't a lot of closing going on in the Tampa Bay Derby. Relentless Dancer made the lead. The long shot King Guillermo pushed him. Relentless Dancer couldn't go with that horse late. All in all, it was a decent effort. If Timeform US is correct and believes Relentless Dancer can make the lead, maybe he can take advantage of a surface that is often speed-friendly, as well as the short stretch of the mile and a 16th.
Yeah, I think those are the 2 big advantages for him. I do expect him to get clear on the lead in this spot, Dan, and I think that could go a long way for him. As I say that, his last 2 starts where they stepped him up against better horses, to me, he just really wasn't that competitive. He did run better in the Tampa Bay Derby last time, but as you already sort of alluded to, I mean, he basically had all the best of it in there. Up on the lead with the eventual winner. He was no match, couldn't hold second or third. I just thought he ran okay. He's another horse who is going to be a much shorter price this time, and he just doesn't really thrill me in here. I guess we'll see how much money he actually takes.
The lone three-time winner in the field is the number 5, South Bend, listed as 4-1 on the morning line. This horse is a stakes winner on the dirt. He won the Street Sense at 2, and in his last 2 dirt starts, he took on some tough competition. Silver Prospector and Tiz the Law in the Kentucky Jockey Club, and Sole Volante and the Mucho Macho Man. I think he's really improved since being switched to turf, but he does have dirt form and a little bit of tactical speed.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably equally effective on either surface. I don't mind them switching back to dirt with him here. As you point out, he's a 3-time winner, and all 3 of his wins have come on the main track, including a stakes race. So he has the dirt form to take a second look at least in here. Dan, I'm concerned about his running style. He has shown tactical speed in the past, but you know, his last couple of starts, he's shown no speed at all. And if he gets outrun early in this race, he's in big trouble.
Soros is another horse that's going to try to make one run from the back of the pack. He's very lightly raced, and he won his maiden in a stakes race at Gulfstream back in November. But that race was one of those fast, early, slow, late performances. In his winners, he just didn't do much. I guess he can improve here, but he's going to have to improve by leaps and bounds.
It does. It just feels like a tough spot for him. As you say, when he won that smooth air, he did have a good trip. They contested that pace in front of him. He got clear. I still thought he looked good winning it, Dan. And he ran fine off the layoff last time. I don't love him in here. If I could do my picks over again, I probably would have put him in there 3rd or 4th, though, because I don't really love the rest of this field.
Attachment Rate splashed home to win his maiden 2 starts back, going a 1-turn mile. Despite failing to change leads, he was very highly regarded at 7-2 in the Gotham. And let's take a look at that performance right now. He's going to run 3rd behind one of the best 3-year-old 1-turn horses in the country in Mischievous Alex. You see Attachment Rate, the number 4, down on the inside. He still has his problems with his lead changes, but again, this was a step in the right direction. I think the 2 turns is within his grasp. I'd like to see him get a little bit closer to the pace here, but he's a strong contender under Luis Saez.
I think he is too. I mean, you do have to worry a little bit about him stretching out around 2 turns for the first time. I think he'll get this far, especially, as you say, if he can get himself into range, which he did relatively effectively in his last 2 starts. He's not, a big speed horse, to be sure, but he was able to get himself into range. I thought he really ran well in his last 2 starts, and I think he's a huge player in here.
Limited positive data for the formulator fact on Dale Romans concerning Attachment Rate. 20% winners, a $2.66 ROI over the past 5 years with 3-year-old dirt routers in non-graded stakes. We'll take a look at our top selections for the Unbridled Stakes, and that's where you're going, Mike. You like the 7 Attachment Rate, and at around 3-1, I think that's a fair price.
Yeah, I do too. I just overall, then I just really like his form maybe better than anybody else's. I'm obviously concerned about Dr. Post. Maybe he just takes another step forward here for Pletcher, and that's all it takes, and it'll be really hard to beat, but I'm going with Attachment Rate.
I'm hoping pace makes the race in here and that Relentless Dancer can sneak away to an uncontested lead. He did improve last time out in the Tampa Bay Derby. He has won a stakes race at 2 turns, albeit against Louisiana-bred competition at Delta Downs. He's 6-1 on the morning line. Mike's going 7-3-4-1. I'm going 4-3-7-2 in the Unbridled Stakes, the feature at Gulfstream on Saturday. It kicks off at pick 4, and it has an approximate post time of 4:53 Eastern. Good luck.